plan to move the 50 billion worth of assets to Luxembourg. That's a plan that cannot fly, that's for sure.
Why?
Because it's a plan that transfers sovereignty in an unacceptable way. And certainly we don't want to turn Greece into a protectorate. This is obviously a discussion among equals, a discussion among partners, and certainly we want to keep it at that level.
All right, based on what you've seen, they want it passed by July 15th. Can it be done logistically, one? Two, can it be done politically?
Well, I think in terms of logistics, it's going to be a tough deal, but presumably can be done. A lot of good people have to work overtime and
I mean, crafting
overnight.
a pile of legislation is an enormous task, right?
Yeah, it is, but it has to be done, and they have to do that. In terms of the political landscape, I think basically what the partners want to do is actually force the question of whether this government can actually muster enough MPs to pass this legislation. If it does, then it's a credible partner. They can talk to it and they can move on to a long-term deal. If it doesn't, then it will be forced to confront that question, perhaps form a national unity government and it's something else.
But hold on. On Friday, overwhelming majority supported him. Why wouldn't he get those same numbers on Wednesday, by Wednesday, looking at all this legislation they're trying to pass?
He will get less numbers. He will get the same numbers from the opposition, but he will get less from his own party. And what really counts is whether he has his own majority intact. He's not going to have that, presumably. That's what the feeling is in the air, but we'll have to see that, and we'll have to wait and see. And if he doesn't, then he has to rethink about the government and who supports that.
A reshuffle of some sort.
Yes, a reshuffle of some sort, because he cannot actually bring in legislation that he relies on the opposition to pass, and then his own members of parliament do not support.
A cabinet member, for example, who didn't vote for it can't sign the piece of legislation?
Yeah,
Is that
they
simple?
have to introduce the bill, and then they don't actually vote for it. This is not going to hold.
How much time does it take to do a reshuffle, or could it be a full-scale election that you would have to do?
I very much doubt that we can go to election. This has to be done in conjunction and in cooperation with our partners. This is not an easy thing to do, and I don't think that they agree. Certainly, they don't do it at this point. So it has to be a reshuffle, perhaps with a change in the parties that support this government.
The 5-year temporary exit. How do you read that? Is that a threat? Is that a possibility? Is that what?
Well, it's not even a possibility, because if you exit, if this takes so much time and so much pain in actually to do it, there's no way that you're going to muster the power and the will to try to enter again. So this is a full exit or a non-exit. That's the first thing to say. The second thing to say is that really this is on the table to push for concessions on the normal plan, on Plan A. This is a Plan B that is meant not to be executed.